Hello everyone, in today's video we'll be looking at the quadratic formula. The quadratic formula can be used if you have a quadratic that won't easily factorize, if the question is asking for exact answers or surds. What we'll be looking at in this video: what is the quadratic formula, how to substitute in values into the formula, and examples of using the quadratic formula. What is the quadratic formula? Sometimes a quadratic equation will not have exact values but reoccurring decimals that have to be rounded. To solve these types of quadratic equations, the quadratic formula has to be used. So what is the formula? X equals minus b plus or minus square root b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. The quadratics always come in the form of ax squared plus bx plus c. How to substitute in values into the formula? Remember that the general form of a quadratic is ax squared plus bx plus c. Example: 3x squared minus 5x plus 13. Just by looking at it, you already know that you won't be able to factorize this quadratic. And then in order to use the quadratic formula, you need to identify what a, b, and c are. So in this example, a is 3, b is minus 5, and c is 13. In the next example, 3x squared plus 10x plus 19. Similarly, you need to find out what a is, what b is, and what c is in order to substitute in the values into the quadratic formula. So a is 3, b is 10, and c is 19. Afterwards, you substitute in your values into the quadratic formula. X equals minus b plus or minus square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. How to substitute in values? So again, the general form of a quadratic is ax squared plus bx plus c, and you put it into the formula. X equals minus b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. Okay, now we're going to look at this example. We have the example of 2x squared minus 8x plus 10. As we know, 2 is a, so we'll put the 2 into where the a is, into the formula. Now we also know that minus 8 is b, so you put the minus 8 into b, and we also know that 10 is c, so you put it where c is. Now we're going to look at an exam style question. Solve x squared plus 5x plus 3 equals 0. At this moment, just by looking at it, we already know that we won't be able to factorize the quadratic to get whole numbers as x, so you have to put it into the quadratic formula. And a hint would also be if the question also tells you to put your solutions correct to 2 or more decimal places. So first of all, you need to identify the value of a, b, and c in the general equation, which is ax squared plus bx plus c. In this example, there is no number before the x squared, so you'll put down a as 1, because 1x squared is the same as just x squared. Next, you need to substitute in your values into the quadratic formula, which is x equals minus b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. And now you would get, once you substitute in your values, you would get x equals minus 5 plus or minus the square root of 5 squared minus 4 times 1 times 3 all over 2 times 1. Next, you have to simplify your answer down to get x equals minus 5 plus or minus the square root of 25 minus 12 all over 2. And then you would get x equals minus 5 plus or minus 13 square root over 2. Afterwards, at this stage, you'll get two answers because remember, you have a plus or minus, which means you have two answers, one which would be minus 5 plus the square root of 13 over 2, and you also have minus 5 minus the square root of 13 over 2, which means that you always, using a quadratic formula, you will always get two answers. And then now the values of x can be calculated. So we'll look at this one first. So x equals minus 5 plus the square root of 13 all over 2. And that is equal to minus 0.70. And also, if it says give your solutions correct to two decimal places, regardless of whether the second decimal place has a 0, you still have to put it anyway, because the question is asking you to put your answer to two decimal places. Then we'll look at x equals minus 5 minus the square root of 13 over 2, and then x is equal to minus 4.30. So these are your two answers for this question. So your answers are minus 0.70 or minus 4.30. I hope you found this video useful. Please click on the subscribe and bell buttons for more content from this channel. And if you found it useful, please share with others. Thank you for watching.